a more aggressive grille. So, as usual, most of the big changes are under the skin. Prices have only increased by a few percent, and of course you get more power. Initially there are two models, the 58 grand entry-level Carrera with a 3.6 litre flat 6 and 325 horsepower, and this Carrera S with 3.8 litres and 355 bhp, which will set you back 65 grand. To cope with that extra power and a slight increase in the torque, there's an all-new 6-speed gearbox which is just as good as the old one. And if anything, the clutch pressure is a bit lighter. However, one first for a new 911 is a variable power steering rate, so that slow speeds, it's nice and easy for parking, whereas at high speeds it's just as sensitive as it always was. And the rack in this case is a bit quicker than before, so less turns from lock to lock. But perhaps the most important first is the first time they've had an active suspension management option, so that now with it switched off, you're a slightly softer Porsche for mainly road use. It's a little more comfortable ride, although on the previous one the ride was never a problem. Now however, if you want a more sporting feel, you can switch your PASM on, and everything stiffens up nicely. The car actually lowers itself 10mm as well to increase the aerodynamic thrust through the air. But one thing that never changes is that glorious wail from the flat six behind you. One major criticism of the old car was its interior, which lacked any visual drama and for the money felt cheap. Although the new 911 feels far better built and is decorated with some metallic eye candy, it's still no Aston Martin DB9 inside. But then again, Porsche have never made grand interiors. Instead, they've always concentrated on very functional ones, and this 911 is no exception. Mind you, they got a bit carried away with the cup holders. Although it does look like a carbon copy of its predecessor, Porsche have gone to great lengths to make this 911 more slippery through the air. All the body panels are new, apart from the one on the roof, and they've even added a new under tray to further reduce drag. Even these A-pillars are slightly more rounded, whilst they've added these fancy door mirrors, not only to allow the air to clean the side window, but also for it to flow more smoothly the spoiler at the back. Though perhaps you only notice little things like that on an autobahn or a racetrack. So with our PASM on and our PSM Porsche Stability Management off and a greasy Silverstone circuit beneath our fat 19-inch rims, it's time to see just how good this new Porsche is. Oh, bit of understeer there. You know, I hadn't expected that. The grip at the back of this Porsche seems to be amazing. Hardly any need for stability control at all if there's that sort of grip available in these greasy conditions. Again, the back seems to be planted even when I'm on full throttle. But doubtless the tight twists of Club Corner, which is very tight. Surely the back's going to kick a bit here. Oh, no, it grips well. And the other way. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, the back went out but not for long. Very easily controlled. Unbelievable. But this car that was so famed for its dodgy rear end can be driven so hard in such greasy conditions. The gearbox is a real delight out on the track. Slicking up to 5th gear now. And pulling 127, 930 miles an hour. Well, a little back end just went, but then again it goes back into understeer. This car is incredibly stable for one with such a wild reputation. But they're right down to the tight stuff. It's time to play. So, the 911 remains by far the best way to spend 60 grand on a car. I know a lot of people make a big fuss about the new Aston Martin AM V8 that's due out next year, but to beat this, it's going to be something very, very special indeed. Britain's petrol and diesel is at its highest price for 4 years. We now have to stump up a bank-breaking £3.75 a gallon, making it about the most expensive in the world. This is obviously rubbish and means we have less money to spend on exotic holidays,
motorbikes,
literature, school fees,
my new bathroom,
the girlfriend, the girlfriend. That's why we're testing Britain's most frugal four-seaters to see whether it's hybrid, petrol or diesel which will save us the most money. All most amazing official MPG figures, but should you take any notice of them?
Well, probably not too much when you look at the artificial way in which they're calculated. For starters, they're achieved in a laboratory, not on the road. A driver follows a trace on a computer to simulate an actual test route. The so-called urban cycle is an average of 12 miles an hour over 2.5 miles. The extra urban cycle is an average of 39 miles an hour over 4.3 miles. Those figures are then averaged out to achieve the combined figure. However, at best, these numbers are just something to aspire to, rather than being something we'll ever achieve in our test cars.
I'm in the petrol-powered Daihatsu Chiron 1. Count it, 1 litre EL. It has an officially claimed combined MPG figure of 58.9. OK, the Smart 4.2 claims to do 1 mile per gallon better, but this has twice as many seats, it's faster, and at £6,295, 500 quid cheaper.
I've ended up with the Toyota Prius. It is expensive at £17,545, but you do get 2 engines for the price of 1. The electric motor normally drives you along, and it's only helped out by the 1.5 litre petrol when you need to get a move on. Overall, it's supposed to do 65.7 miles per gallon.
Now, on paper, this is the most economical car here. The Citroen C2 1.4 HDI is £9,000 and will do 68.9 miles for every gallon of diesel you put in. That means I could go from London to Birmingham for 6.5 quid.
Of course, all that's in theory. The reality of our test is that we'll be driving the typical fifth gear gusto. And there's plenty of fun to be had, especially in the Toyota.
You start to play a little game. The petrol engine does cut in seamlessly when you need it to, but the challenge is to keep it in electric mode for as much as possible, because then it's pretty much a free journey. With the engine off, you consume no petrol at all. The 500-volt electric motor only needs a boost when you're keeping up with faster traffic, so that's when the petrol engine turns on and you start consuming fuel. On a motorway, you end up with the same economy as a conventional petrol small car, because you need that petrol engine boost as much as possible. But no matter what you drive, there are a few simple rules to help you save cash.
You basically want to use the highest possible gear and use the lowest possible revs. Change gear too soon and the engine will labour. Change gear too late and you're using more revs, therefore more fuel. So learn to feel your car, learn to feel where the engine's pulling best, where it feels happy, where it's torquey.
Mind you, it's not just your driving style that you should look at. Electrical devices like heated screens put a strain on the engine, so turn them off as soon as you can. And be aware, air conditioning increases consumption by up to 11%. Even cruising with the window open will increase drag and mean kissing goodbye to a few extra precious sips of fuel.
Our test continues. Join us later to find out what proves most economical, petrol, hybrid or diesel. And remember, you can win the winner. To be in with a chance, just answer this question. What does MPG normally stand for? Is it A, miles per gallon, B, metres per gallon, or C, minutes per gallon? Call 09015 339955 to enter, or text GEAR plus A, B or C to 81555. Don't worry, we'll show that lot again at the end of the programme. Lines close at midday on Monday the 8th of November, and you can also enter via our website.
Ooh.
Welcome back to our regular feature, the Fifth Gear Shootout, where we put together 2 similarly priced or similarly powered cars and find out what you want to know. What's quickest?
We've got more shootouts than ever planned for this series, and here's a little taster.
Also this series, as well as the straight head-to-heads, we're going to be drawing comparisons with some of the shootouts we've already done, and you'll be able to see a full table of results on our website. So far, the fastest car we've tested is a BMW M3 CSL, with a lap time of 50.08 seconds. The slowest is a Mercedes Sprinter van at 67.2 seconds. We discovered a diesel Skoda is quicker than a Mini Cooper, and that 25 grand's worth of Vauxhall VX220 Turbo will buy you more pace than a Porsche Boxer, a BMW Z4 and even an M3. Today we're dropping the shootout rules on similar power and price in order to settle an age-old debate. What's quickest, supercar or superbike? For the challenge, we put Tiff in Lamborghini's punchy Gallardo and motorbike journo Kevin Smith on Ducati's latest 999. Now, although the Gallardo comes with a V10 that develops 500 brake horsepower and will hit 60 in 4 seconds, the Ducati boasts even better headline figures. At 12 grand, it's 10 times less expensive than the Lambo, and because it has twice the power to weight ratio, it's a second quicker to 60. But let's not forget that Kevin has only 2 wheels to corner and brake with, whereas Tiff has 4 fat ones.
And the first cars I drove seemed a bit understeering. This Gallardo is a bit frisky, especially on cold tires. Once they warm up a bit, it seems to be safer, but at first I've been having a lot of fun with this Gallardo. Over the top, flick it right. Oh, give it some. The only problem with this Lambo, as I found out when I first drove it, is the gears are very tall. So you only use 3 gears, and you need first gear for the hairpin. Really good brakes there.
Right, enough of the showing off. Time to set a quick lap. Neat and tidy through turn 1. A little drift through Abbots. A flash of opposite lock through the radar complex. Neat and tidy round the hairpin. Through Douglas Mount View and on to set a lap time of 49.69 seconds. Beat that, biker. Kevin's certainly good at the showboating, but as you can see, it's exceptionally hard to keep the 999's nose down under heavy acceleration. And when going through tighter bends, Kevin has to brake much harder than me. But once out on the straight, his acceleration is truly awesome. When it comes to heavy braking, he can even get the back out. Good boy. Time for the deciding lap. Incredibly, by the radar complex, the bike is 0.18 of a second ahead. But under heavy braking for the hairpin, the gap's dropped to 0.16. Now there's just the high speed left, right, left of Douglas Mount View to come, and the Ducati catapults out of it to defeat the Lamborghini by 0.44 of a second.
So, 2 Italian wheels are better than 4, and the Ducati takes the #1 spot on our shootout table, with the Gallardo a close second. But don't worry, because Tiff has a plan to get back to the top of the table with this, a Moser. Find out if he succeeds later in the series.
Here on Fifth Gear, we're getting a name for crash tests, and we don't just stop at our own. We're scouring the world for some of the most surprising and interesting experiments done in the name of safety.
Our first example comes from Switzerland. Winter Tour Insurance and DEKRA wanted to know what happens when a quad bike crashes into the back of a parked car. Since July last year, it's been possible to make a quad bike road legal with minimal re-engineering. Sounds like great fun, but this crash test footage kind of puts a dampener on things. The major problem cited by Winter Tour's experts is that the braking mechanisms are often old and outmoded. The 60 km/h impact results in a peak of 61 G. The rider's upper body crashes through the boot, with his head sustaining serious injuries after striking the roof. His lower body and upper thighs also take a battering after hitting the handlebars. Wearing a helmet and protective clothing would greatly reduce the